Well, hello everybody. Welcome back to Best Life and Beyond. We come to you with a kind of almost a breaking news.
Somewhat. We just woke up a little while ago, and there's been a ton of information. It kind of hit us last night when we were filming, while we were doing our live stream, What's Happening Wednesday.
Yeah, the rumors started flying right about then.
Yeah, there was multiple sources sending us, photos and screenshots, and multiple people reporting, this was happening, that's happening. We do want to clarify though that this is the information that was sent to us.
Yeah.
We don't have any insider sources, nothing of the sort.
No.
We're also not trying to make false claims, and we're also trying to keep our crazy emotions out of it, because as you know, we're really tied to that park.
Yeah.
But we just want to give you the information.
We're just reporting what we heard and what we know, and the information comes from IATSE, which is the International Association of Theatrical Stage Employees, and this is their conversations with OSHA regarding all the safety guidelines, and that's where this information was derived from, and we received it second party from someone in IATSE, and then someone else, and then to us.
So the whole thing is a lot of stuff got leaked out.
Yeah.
There was stuff posted on Twitter, Facebook. I mean, you name it. I think my DMs alone, with a lot of the same information, there was at least 100 plus screenshots and this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
So we'll try and put those in there if we can. If not, we're not going to. But we don't want to. That's all we can do, is really just give you the information that we have.
Yeah.
You make your decisions based on the information, and so let's start off with the actual information that was leaked.
Yeah.
Basically, we're saying that guidelines were leaked, and we do want to clarify. That doesn't mean an opening date. There's an opening date, and then there's guidelines. Guidelines need to come before opening dates, and that's what we've been struggling with here in California. We have not gotten guidelines for theme parks because apparently, according to Governor Gavin Newsom, they don't fall within the tiers, the colored tier system that he originally set up.
Right. Which
is part of the reason we're a little confused on these guidelines that were released, because one part of it stated that we need to be in the yellow, which he had originally said we don't fall, theme parks don't fall within that tiered system. I see kind of how it could work because it's the county, but we'll get into that in a little bit. But
and yellow being the final tier, and then there is no green tier, but green would mean go. Green would mean, the tiers are over. So
we'll explain a little bit of the tiered system as well, because if you're not from California living in this craziness, you're like, what are you talking about? That's
why are you talking about colors? Well,
it's like a Candyland Monopoly game gone wrong. It's very, very confusing. Very, very confusing. And this is confusing.
a rainbow of confusion.
It really is. So let's start off with the actual information.
So I'm going to read this directly from the IATSE document that was leaked. The first thing is, theme parks can reopen when the host county, in our case Orange County, reaches the state yellow tier.
So let's break that down a little bit. So just so you know, California's broken up into a lot of counties, and they go by county, and then cases per 100,000. It's basically, right now we live in Orange County, and Orange County is in red. Now, the confusing part, and the thing that's going to really make this even more a little bit kind of a downer, I have to be honest with you.
What she's talking about is how this affects the opening date specifically, is what she's talking about, because we have to stay in each tier for a minimum of 3 weeks, no matter what.
And it's reevaluated on Tuesdays. That's when they decide it. Now, you have to understand, though, that we were last week on track to get into the orange tier, so move up into orange, and then yellow is the ultimate goal. Obviously green would be after yellow, but we're just going to say yellow.
But I know what you mean.
Yeah, so the point is, though, we didn't. Apparently it just, and so I want you to know, when you're looking at this, I don't want to get your hopes up. I want you to be cautiously optimistic, because assuming that we're just going to fly through these in 3 weeks, you have to understand, you have to have to get into the yellow, you need to have less than 1 daily new cases per 100,000. That is very difficult. That's not an easy thing. Now,
right. And maintain that for 3 weeks.
Yes. Now, will that inspire people maybe to, you know, really mask up and social distance? Because that's really all we can do. Wash your hands. You've been hearing it for 6-7 months now.
Yeah.
So I hope that this will inspire people, but I just want you to know that it's not as easy as it seems. So be a little bit cautiously optimistic. Now, is it a good thing that if we do get guidelines? Yeah, it's a great thing.
Sure.
I mean, I would rather have guidelines than nothing, but
right.
I don't want you to think that we're just gonna fly through because we couldn't even get to orange. And to give a little reference to, LA County is still in the purple. Like still, most of the state is still in the purple. So when you are thinking about these guidelines, just remember that, you know, for us to get to yellow is definitely a distant.
Right, well, for each
shot.
county. So in LA County, obviously, there's Universal Studios. There's, I believe, Six Flags Magic Mountain might fall into LA County. I'm not quite sure.
The next part of the list, let's move on
Number
here.
2 on this guideline list that was leaked. Each park will be limited to 25% occupancy. Each ride will be limited to 50% occupancy. And all queues must be outdoors only. No walking tours will be allowed to groups or individuals, more than one family grouping, basically. So no meeting up with giant groups of people, I guess is what that means. I don't know.
I think we'll know once we actually get into said park.
Right,
we'll be able to figure it out a little bit more there.
But the capacity level is that we were wondering what that was going to be. And so basically, if we do get to yellow, 25% is where this thing will start, and I don't know that it will maintain through the whole yellow tier and then jump to 100 when we get out of yellow, or will it? I don't know how that's going to work.
I would assume it'll gradually be, because
you would think it would be gradual throughout, but
you never know. Honestly,
we
just don't know.
Number 3 in this guideline list: face coverings will be required. Makes sense. With medical exemptions. And exempt persons will have to wear a transparent shield with drapes at the bottom?
Yeah.
With a drape at the bottom? Oh, I've never heard of that.
So, like, you would, so you'd have a face shield and then just a drape down there, so that you're not, like, because some of the things with the face shield is it's like you're still able to breathe out.
Right, so it protects that.
It does help, but, you know, so, I mean, we expected this, though. That one was really like, okay.
Yeah, of course. Number 4 on this guideline list: no on-the-spot ticket sales. All tickets must be sold in advance.
Now that's a big one too, because as you know, as far as Disneyland is concerned, it's a pass holder park. Everybody wants to know what is going on with the annual pass holders. We don't know any of that information.
Right.
We won't know that until, my guess is that if these guidelines actually do come true and they are posted, Disneyland is going to have to take that, then figure out what they're doing. And interpret
that for their own purposes, and I'm assuming, you know, the online type of sales. Number 5 on this list, where related sector rules have been released, they will apply in theme parks. For example, the existing and future restaurant rules for all restaurants will apply equally to the restaurants inside theme parks. Same with theaters, etc.
Yeah.
So I think that's saying that whatever rules apply to restaurants in said county that you are in will apply for the restaurants within the theme parks in that same county.
Which is a little, I mean, it's a little odd though, because that to me just means, okay, well, you would be in a yellow in order for, you know, the theme park to be open. And if you're in the yellow, you're literally, most businesses are open, and you just have very, you know, the only modifications are capacities, face coverings. And my thought is, when I read that, I'm thinking, okay, when you go to a restaurant, when you're walking through the restaurant, you have your face mask on. When you're sitting at your table, you can take it off when you're eating or drinking. And then they encourage you to, I mean, we wear it when we order from our server most of the time. Sometimes you're just in conversation and you forget.
We wear it in drive-thrus when we're ordering at the windows.
Yeah, so I kind of think that's what they're talking about with that. But
I would assume.
In a way, it's kind of like, because it wouldn't make sense of like, oh, when you were in the red, it was only 25% occupancy, and you had to eat outdoors most of the time. So I don't think it's anything like that. That's my understanding. But again, I'm sure we'll have more clarification from Disneyland.
So number 6 is an interesting one, and probably going to be kind of a disappointment for a lot of people. There's a lot of pass holders all over this state, and what I mean by that is number 6 says, one more thing, hyphen, only persons who reside within 120 miles of the park may purchase admission tickets to any theme park.
Yeah, so again, I don't know how that works with annual pass holders with Disneyland, so that's something we'll have to clarify.
Yeah.
But let's just talk ticket sales only.
Yeah.
Literally, like maybe there's a good chance they could say, hey, we're still not going to take your annual pass payment, and it's not going to count. We are only counting hard ticket sales, but those hard ticket sales are only going to go to people that can have proof of residency within 120 miles radius of the park.
Right. Now, would it apply to APs in the fact that depending on where your billing address is for your AP, maybe that would apply? We don't know.
But that's to say that they may not even bother with the annual pass. Like, I'm kind of thinking about it, and I'm like, it would actually make sense if they said, hey, we're gonna just not with the annual passes for a while. We're gonna keep you on your same system of like,
until we're out of it
You're just
completely.
not taking payments, and you know, that very well could happen. Now, I don't know, I'm not Disney, but it would make sense based on what I'm reading, and that's just how I interpret it.
But we don't know how Disney is going to interpret that. These are literally the guidelines that have been discussed between IATSE and OSHA at this point. Now, these guidelines were said to be posted on the state governor's website last night. We're not sure of how the validity of that or the timeline of that. At the time of shooting this video, those guidelines still have not been posted on the state website. So that's why we say these are speculation guidelines. They could be even altered by the time they actually reach. There's
a good chance that, like, hey, somebody leaked out this information and this is what they're gonna start with. Maybe they're gonna negotiate it some more. So this does kind of give us a little bit of an insight of like, okay, dang, like this is what we're working with. Now, maybe you live you know, somewhere close to, there is other theme parks all around the world and California, but let's just, again, let's take, you know, Tennessee. I know multiple people, there's theme parks are pretty much, and I'm gonna say maybe 90%, pretty much every other theme park in every other state is open. California is the only one that we're referring to. These are California guidelines. So again, I don't want you to get discouraged about Disneyland. Is first of all, you can go to any theme park, literally any theme park, just about.
Utah.
I mean, you name it. Like, I think people don't realize how many theme parks there really are in the United States of America. There's a lot. This is strictly California. And that's where a lot of frustration comes from a lot of people in California, because they're like, how come this place can be open, that place can be open, and we have less cases per, I mean, we have the most populated state pretty much. I just don't want you to get discouraged, because if you do want to go to a theme park, if you do want to go to Disney property, Florida, they're open. So, you know, we've had plenty of friends, colleagues, you name it, that have gone and have had such a good time. So, you know, think positive about that. And then again, even up north, and you know, maybe you're within 120 miles of another theme park, and it may not be, I'm not really good with all the theme parks that are in California, but we're a little hyper focused on Disneyland, but that's the park, and Knott's, and you know, those are the big ones for us. But you know, so maybe that's a positive light for, you know. Well,
the positive thing in this is that steps are moving forward. However strict and however achievable they may or may not be, it's still a step forward, and we have to take it as that, and we have to take it and go, okay, great, like we're moving forward, as opposed to not hearing anything for such a long time. So we patiently await this to be official. Again, this is not official. This was semi-leaked, and so who knows, it could change by the time it actually reaches the state's website, and we patiently await that happening. By the time we post this, it could hit the website. We don't know. But we just wanted to give you guys the guidelines as they were written,
And try to give you kind of like our interpretation and our thoughts.
Yeah, without emotion and without...
Which is hard.
It's hard. But again, we're not experts, we're not scientists, we're not politicians, and so we are enthusiasts, basically, and citizens of the state of California. So that's the latest and greatest from old Orange County, California. That's what we got going on, and we await further news on this serious subject. To us, it's serious.
Fingers crossed. Yeah. Fingers crossed.
Both of them. My toes are crossed too. So if you guys like this video, make sure to give it a big old thumbs up.
And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
That's right, and we will see you next time on Best Life and Beyond. Bye-bye, everybody.